Hello, fam. I got this question which says, can you talk about in detail why low vibrational family members barely call you until someone in the hospital is dead? It will be like few weeks to months before they text to say, did you know this or that? I think you said in another video. They don't want you to go through those times alone. They don't know what to do in that type of despair, lots of feelings, weakness, and disabled to do anything. All right, let's talk about this. Now, to better understand that comment, it is also very important to understand something that you would call the black sheep awakening. In pretty much every dysfunctional, it doesn't matter what dysfunctional it is, or I could say a narcissistic family matrix, there is always a member of that particular unit that they call the black sheep of the family. The black sheep of the family, they are the ones who, those members of the family who are able to see through the illusion. They are the ones who kind of get it. They kind of get it. They see the patterns. Not only do they see the patterns, they are questioning the narrative. So they are questioning whatever it is the parents are doing or whatever it is that is going on. They can be able to identify these very unusual dysfunctional cycles that are usually happening in the system. And for the most part of their lives, they have called it out. They have called it out. They have mentioned it. They could have mentioned it unconsciously. You could have found yourself as a black sheep asking your parents some very particular serious questions, and your parents wasn't willing to give you the answers. It could be partly because they could have gaslit you, or they just didn't want you to confirm what this thing was up or what this thing was all about. So they wanted you to stay behind the scenes. They wanted you to keep your mouth shut. They never wanted you to speak. So they never wanted you to stand up to whatever it is that was happening. And there's been things that have been happening. So it is very likely that in such families, there could be a couple of members there. There could be 3, maybe 4. There could be 5, there could be 6. There might even sometimes have been 10 members in the unit. Not always. It's not always the case. There may sometimes be narcissistic family matrix that just has a member or 2. Okay. Now, in that family as well, we need to understand something, that there is also a lot of members that are enablers. Okay. So there has been this thing that has been happening, very dysfunctional behavior. And there have been people, members of the unit, that have been enablers of the narcissistic parent who is at the top. They feel obligated to protect the entire family unit. So basically, if you're the person that comes up to speak against this, it is usually going to be met with resistance. So they will usually think that, you're trying to destabilize the whole matrix, the whole system. And you normally could have been the one that was called the crazy one. So you've usually had a lot of family members who used to call you, crazy. Why is so and so speaking this? Why are they doing like this? So because you are the person that wasn't fitting in, you are the person who was thinking outside the box. Now, like I've said, a black sheep is always going to wake up. They are going to be the very first members of the family that are going to wake up. So it could happen where they may awaken within the entire system. Within the system, they could awaken while within the system, or there could be sometimes external situations or circumstances that could trigger them to awaken. It could even sometimes have nothing to do with their family. It could be something that may be triggered when they're outside of the unit, okay? Like for me, for example, I wasn't triggered to awaken while I was engaged with the system. So I was triggered to awaken when I was outside of the system. I was out there doing my own thing, living my life and stuff like that. So that awakening that happens outside of the system, it is now which starts to make a lot of sense because now you have awakened. You're able to see what exactly is happening in your life. So you're now coming back and reanalyzing your entire family system, and you're also understanding that the similar things you've experienced outside of the system, they are the same things that have been happening this entire time within the unit. So you will have a comparison and you will see the same thing is happening in your system. So that's when you're also going to have something that I called the second awakening. There could even be a third one, there could even be a fourth one. Awakenings can happen in so many times. Now, this awakening is something that is very painful, not only for you, it's also painful for everybody that is within the system. So this thing triggers a shockwave. It sends a very huge shockwave in the whole entire system. So you are for the very first time speaking about these things. You have already confirmed. You have actually confirmed what has been going on. So you are now able to speak out. And now these members, they're coming face to face with this, with your discoveries, with the things that you've discovered. So is why sometimes we have talked about you leaving the unit, because when you discover these kind of things, you're going to be able to call them out. And your findings or your discoveries are going to be met with resistance. So that shockwave will spread through each and every member of the unit. They will not know what to do with you. They cannot run away from the truth. So it's going to be some kind of a turmoil, because at the same time you have left. So they're not able to confront you and talk to you what is going on. You have detached from the system. But at the same time, they are challenged to face the reality of what really has been happening in the system. So it doesn't leave everybody the same. Now, normally what happens when you leave is like there is now members who are, let's talk about the enablers and members who have been playing different roles in the unit. So that's when you now experience different members of the family coming together, because now it's like you're becoming a problem because you're speaking about the truth. You're speaking your truth. You're standing up for the truth. And different members of the family now, they're starting to come together. So they're all going to point the barrels towards you. Because you see, as much as they may be able to see for the very first time what exactly has been happening, it is going to be very difficult for them to confirm this. It's going to be very difficult for them to stand behind you because you're trying to speak out or you're trying to call them out. It will be very difficult for them to take accountability of all those things you're talking about. Is the reason as to why a lot of family members, they will step away, they will step aside, and they're going to avoid you. So they no longer know how to handle you. You see, back in the days before you woke up, you had a lot of them who used to come in and out. They used to, every now and then, of course, you've been the scapegoat eventually. As the black sheep, you've been the scapegoat. So you may have had different engagements with them every now and then. But when you awaken, the whole energy is going to change. The whole energy will shift. So they are going to resent you for the very first time because now they don't know what to tell you. You are seeing the truth. You're speaking the truth. And you're calling this whole mess that has been going on, you're calling it out. So they don't know how to handle you. They don't know what to say to you. Is why most of the times when you go through this awakening, a lot of family members, they avoid you. So a lot of them are going to stand away from you. They're going to keep a distance from you. Now, in that particular moment, remember that once you walk away, they are going to sit in a group. So they are going to come together and all of them are going to find a particular subject that all of them can blame, because none of them is going to sit down and discuss all these things with the narcissistic parent at the top. So they're all going to come together and they're all going to make sure that all the barrels are pointed towards you. So you're going to continue being scapegoated, even if you have left the system. But sometimes it happens that there may be family members who may reach out. It doesn't always mean that when they're all sitting together and discussing things, they're all going to be against you. There could be a member or two that may understand you, even if they don't have the power to speak about it. They may know it behind the scenes and they may keep it to themselves. But these members also will reach out to you. They may reach out to you. So now you may start hearing things that have happened. It could have been, for example, yes, You have left the unit so many years ago, 2 or 3, 4, maybe even sometime more, many years ago, and there has been, for example, something very tragic that has happened. It could have happened to the narcissistic parent at the top. It could have happened to different family members in the unit. Any moment when there's a tragedy that hits that family, they will now find some members who may reach out to you. Not all of them are going to reach out. It's going to be particular members that are going to reach out to you. And they're going to read to you the news. Okay, they may tell you that, listen, this and this is happening, or somebody passed on, or somebody's in hospital, or, it is only going to be cases where things have happened, very tragic things have happened in the system. And that's when now there is going to be particular family members that are going to reach out and let you know what has been happening. But besides that, everybody's going to be quiet. Everybody will be out there doing their own thing. Nobody wants to contact you. So in most cases, your awakening, like I've said, it has triggered this shockwave, and a lot of family members have distanced themselves from you. So there will be no more visits. And most of the times when there is meetings, when there's birthdays, when there's weddings and stuff like that, as the black sheep of the family who was detached from the entire system, you are not going to be invited. So you're not going to be told about all the good things that are happening. So a black sheep, you should be prepared that when those kind of things happen, tragic tragedies happen and tragic circumstances or whatever, they are going to reach out to you. And now they're going to tell you something that is going on with the parent, something going on with the mother, this stuff like that. That one you will know. But in my own experience, as a black sheep of the family, it is very, very dangerous. So what I've usually advised and recommended that you do, when you have walked away from the system, it is very important to detach and to leave it the way it is. Just keep on going. It's even sometimes as painful as it might seem. You might have to miss barriers. You might have to miss visiting the sick people. Some of the people who was the problem, you could hear that they are sick in hospital, and you may be called out to go and, re-engage and visit those people. But normally, any re-engagement you do as a black sheep to return to that system, there may be a little bit of days where things are going to be okay, but eventually everything is going to turn around, and they're still going to scapegoat you the same way they did way back in time. So those news you will hear, like I've said, just take it as it is, but re-engagement is a problem. It's very difficult. You need to do, I do not say you may completely disengage permanently, but most of the times it's for your own protection. So you walking away, it's staying in your safe zone whereby you are running away and you detaching from that energy, because even if you decide to re-engage and go back to those units, the abuse is going to start all over again. I've got a black sheep who I've been talking with, and there was a case where they detached from the system, other siblings, sisters and brothers, and even the narcissistic parent as well. There is things that happened to the parent. So this black sheep was contacted and they was told, the father is sick, the father had dementia, the father got dementia, and this person was asked to come and visit the father. The person came and visited the father, and then it was a few weeks of, nice days and stuff like that. And before they knew it, everything went back to the way it was. So the abuse kicked off all over again. So you are usually going to regret the decision that you will do if you re-engage. So if you have to, because there might be cases where you really have to re-engage the entire system, the entire unit, just go there and do what needs to be done. Keep your distance. Make sure you protect yourself, and make sure that whenever you sniff out any BS going on, you need to get out immediately. So because usually a lot of these members are going to punish you for walking away. They are going to punish you for walking away. They will punish you for calling them out. They are going to punish you for standing up for yourself, because remember that you left. So there was a very big gaping hole that was going on. There was a big, huge, massive gaping hole, and they did not have any object, any subject to abuse. So there was no trash can in the family, because as a scapegoat, it was the trash can. So you stepped away. Now they don't have a scapegoat. They don't have a trash can. And there's a lot of conflict that has been happening within the system. So when you come back, it's like they are going to, I could say, they will be glad that you came back, but not because they really care about you or stuff like that. They only know you came back, and they're going to re-engage you in the same way that they've done before, because you, as a scapegoat, as the trash can of the entire system, has returned to the unit. So the abuse is going to kick off all over again. Black sheeps, beware, okay? Living is for your own protection. You live, you stay away, you stay out of it. The news, you hear those news, but most of the times you're out there doing the healing because you are the one who is going to heal the entire generation. So you cannot heal a generation when you're still engaged with the same abuse that has been going on. So your healing is very vital and very crucial because your own healing is also going to be the healing that is going to happen. You're also going to heal the entire bloodline and the entire generations to come. So a lot of people that are in the unit are also going to benefit from your healing because if the abuse keeps on going on, it's like you are re-engaging and you're restarting. It's like you're resetting the entire cycle to start all over again, and the healing is going to become impossible. It's the reason as to why you have to detach. Go on your healing journey, start the healing, and let everything take care of itself. Okay. So the news you will hear, like I've said, yes, the parents will be sick. Sometimes they'll be hospitalized. There are a lot of things will be happening because remember that you're dealing with a generational cycle. So when a cycle is breaking, it's going to sometimes crush some family members who was part of that entire unit. So that's when now you've here. I've done a whole video on this, and I've told you you might hear a lot of things that are happening. People lost their businesses, somebody lost their families, somebody lost this or somebody lost that. The parent is in hospital and stuff like that. That is because you have taken away your energy. It's your energy that was keeping the family intact. But when you have removed yourself, that means a lot of bad things are going to happen. So you will hear those bad things. But when things are going okay and everything is normal, there's weddings, there's birthdays and stuff like that, you'll not hear about it. You will be completely excluded. Nobody will call you. But they're only going to call you when there is bad things that have happened, tragedies and tragic events that have happened are going on in the system. That's when you're going to get a phone call or maybe a message, or somebody would reach out to you and they may tell you of the bad things, but they're not going to tell you the good ones. Okay. That's what it means when you are a black sheep of the family. Those are the things to expect. And I'm sure that many of you guys resonate. I think there's many black sheep who know this story, how it goes. All along my videos, I've been sharing these experiences that have been going on. And I think you guys can pick a leaf from that, okay? So drop us a comment, like the page, share, subscribe. You guys know I do love and appreciate your support. You can book a session with me. You may donate or support my channel if you want to. Everything you need, you will find it in the description below. And until then, I'll catch you guys in my next one. There's almost signing out. Much love and blessings. Peace.